Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're continuing on here with Mr. Darrell Brooks. Now, he's going to cross-examine a bunch of detectives and officers and a bunch of shit like this, so we're going to take them one by one. But first, we're going to the person who actually reconstructed the accident. There's a bunch of witnesses all over the place. There's camera footage, but now we have the actual reconstruction off of all that information. So for me and Izzy, let's get this going. Make sure everybody gets your 4th of July beverage. I got the fat ass Modelo right here. You know, you already know what flavor it is. It's the mango chilada. Let's get this shit. Make sure you guys hit my Instagram. It's agtactical25. We're almost at 100 followers, so you guys are hitting that shit up. Make sure everybody just jump on that shit, because when I start posting, it's going to be good. And then you guys obviously could DM me a bunch of topics. I do have a list of topics from you guys that I've already seen, so I like that. I fuck with that.
Swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a seat. Madam Clerk, I'm giving you previously received 54. Right, sir, the first thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
First name is Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L. Last name is Smith, S-M-I-T-H.
God damn. Michael Smith. That's the most generic name I've heard all trial. What's Michael Smith? That sounds like something I would make up for a class assignment. But anyways, we love you, Michael Smith. Let's go.
Thank you. Go ahead. Your witness.
Thank you. How are you employed?
With the Wisconsin State Patrol,
What's your job title?
I am a
I'm sorry. There's probably like 20,000 Michael Smiths in that one state alone. I'm just saying. But anyways,
Reconstructionist with the Technical Reconstruction Unit.
How long have you had that position?
I joined the TRU when it was originally formed in 2008. I've been doing full-time recon since 2002. We had a unit formed based on the need for a reconstructionist that did this type of crash investigation all the time. That's all we do. A normal trooper has traffic enforcement duties. We just have strictly crash recon duties. That's all we do.
I'm watching this video, right? And you see the cat just moved. She didn't leave. The cat just jumped on my lap. She's like, nah, I don't like this seat. Hold on, let me this is where the cat ended up. You're so funny, Izzy. No, I can't have you on my lap. Oh, she's out of here. All right. You can just go on the floor then. Fuck her. She's hilarious. Anyways.
Can you tell us what kind of training was required to become a reconstructionist for the State Patrol?
Yes. I've had over about 2,000 hours of training. That training has been done at our State Patrol Academy. We bring in schools like Northwestern, Texas A&M, IPTM, which stands for the Institute of Police Technology and Management. They come in, they're college-level courses. They teach us, obviously, over a series of weeks. We also have specialty instructors come in for specialty fields in accident reconstruction.
Hey, all I'm saying, this guy sounds like a goddamn pro. If you see those guys with like thousands of hours on that shit, they're professionals. So imagine doing crime reconstructions for like thousands upon thousands of hours. It's gonna be second nature. You're gonna breathe crime scene. You're gonna walk down the street and be like, huh, you know, that could be a potential crime scene, like, you know what I mean? So
Construction, which can be vehicle versus pedestrian, vehicle versus motorcycle, CMV crashes, lighting studies, and a bunch of other ones.
How many accident or crash scene reconstruction analyses have you completed as a reconstructionist with the State Patrol?
Well, since about probably 2004, I would say till now, I average probably over 100 a year that I respond to.
oh shit.
And these are serious crashes. They're not just, somebody driving into a mailbox. This is a criminal or possibly injury case involving criminal charges that we respond to. But probably on average over 100 a year for the last, since 2004.
So give us an answer. Come on. So that's like almost 1,000 crashes, maybe even more. Like, shit, that's more. Somebody do the math for me. That's a lot of crashes.
You conduct a crash reconstruction analysis in downtown Waukesha from an event that took place on November 21st, 2021.
I did.
When did you begin your work on that analysis?
I worked with detectives from the City of Waukesha Police Department. On January 30th of this year, we actually went out to the scene to conduct a time distance analysis.
Where did you go at the scene?
We went to the Curry Insurance Company, which was the cameras that we decided to use after viewing all the videos. That was the best, as far as what I'm concerned, to use in a time distance analysis. It was the clearest. It provided certain things that made it necessary for me to do an accurate time distance analysis.
What are some of those certain things you referenced?
What we look for and what we've been trained to do is, first of all, we look for a stationary camera, one that doesn't move. So when we are viewing the video of the incident and we are, again, recording new video with the time distance analysis, that camera is in the same exact spot. That's the first thing we do. Secondly,
that's really smart. So they have that one camera that could kind of show you the whole time of day how everything looked from start to finish. Then they could play around with other cameras and basically base that main camera as to where and when that camera was recording something. So, I mean, that sounds like a headache, to be honest, bro. Like, you need somebody with, like, true professionalism to handle something like that, because, you could just imagine all the mistakes that could happen. And you have one mistake, just one or two little mistakes, and the whole thing's ruined because it's going to look bad to the jury. So it takes, a professional to do some shit like this, and I think that's what they're really hammering home, that he knows what he's doing.
Have at least two fixed reference points to actually see where a vehicle in this case is entering the first reference point and where it hits the second reference point. So those need to be really clear for us to get an accurate distance. And from that point, then we want to actually time or make sure the timing on the video software is accurate. And that's simply a stopwatch that we use to verify that that video is timing correctly, not too fast, not too slow. So once we have all that done and we determine those 2 points, we will bring a vehicle in, and in this case an exemplar vehicle that matched the description, I think, your make and model of the vehicle that was in the parade. We actually will have someone.
Well, I mean, it's not hard to find a Ford Explorer, or no, a Ford Escape 2010. That is I don't like them, bro. I know that exact model too. They're just ugly, but they're probably all that shit when they first came out. But yeah, it's not hard to, any Ford vehicle that, is involved in a crime scene, it's not going to be hard to reconstruct it. You could go to any lot, any DMV, and you could probably find it. Any secondhand used car salesman, he'll have that shit. Mint condition for you.
Me in this case, inside, watching the video on the screen, seeing when that exemplar vehicle comes into the screen. When it comes into the screen where the vehicle did at the time, we have somebody mark that location out on the roadway. We then do that for a second point further down. In this case, we had 2 points. Once we have those 2 points established, then we're bringing our survey equipment out, which is a Trimble unit that you've all seen them out on the roadways. And
yep, they have they put up the easel, and it's the little camera.
People's homes where they're surveying, that's what we use. Very accurate instrument. Just to give you an idea of accuracy, at about 300 feet, it's plus or minus an eighth of an inch off. So
damn.
Very, very accurate unit, which we use all the time for crash reconstruction. So once we have that distance, we verified the timing. It's a pretty simple calculation that we do to determine.
Hey, his name might be an average Michael Smith, but he ain't no average man. You know what I mean? This guy out here with all the knowledge. His mouth is for sure getting dry with all this shit. Like,
vehicle's average speed through that particular distance that we have. And just keep in mind it's an average speed, so it could be moving faster or slower during certain portions of the distance, but it's just basically taking that average speed through that distance that we measured.
What do you
When
want?
you use that Trimble machine to conduct your measurements, did you use those measurements to later produce a 2-scale scene diagram?
I did.
Okay, I'd like to project for the.
And again, this is a cool thing I always like to point out. When lawyers ask these questions, it's not even a real question. He's just leading you. He's like, you did this, right? Yes. You also went and did that, right? Yes. Like, there's no, there's no room for your witness to fuck your thing up. You know, you're in the groove, you're doing your thing, and your questions are very particular. So there's a yes and a no. If you need them to, you know, explain further, then your question will lead them in a perfect environment to answer that specific question. You don't give your witnesses leeway to just answer and say whatever they want, and that's what Brooks does so well. Is just ruin that. He just gives them leeway to say whatever they want to say.
Witness only exhibit number 56, please.
56?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Go ahead, show the witness.
Do you recognize the diagram on the screen in front of you?
I do.
What is it?
That is the scale diagram that I created as a result of the Trimble measurements that I took out at the scene.
I move exhibit 56 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Objection. I can't see it on my screen.
He's right.
Oh, I don't know why. We'll need to check the cabling.
Oh my God, the first this is probably the first objection that actually was noted. He can't see it on his screen, so they gotta fix it. Win for Darrell. Check Darrell Brooks, bro. Good for you, buddy. He must have felt so good when the lawyer was like, "Oh, he does not. Let's fix that." He was like, "Oh yeah, top tier lawyer in this bitch." Like, you know. I don't even think you say objection. I would just be like, Your Honor, my screen's it's not showing on my screen. There's no objection there. You just let them know. Like,
Continue then. Oh, and Exhibit 56. Well, first of all, let him review it. It's been offered by the state. You've now had an opportunity to review it, sir.
he's like, "Oh yeah, let me look at this. Yeah. I'm reviewing it. Yeah. Let me write some notes down. That'll help my case."
All right, Exhibit 56 is received. Permission to publish is granted. Go ahead.
Don't smile
Okay,
at this
can you
guy,
please
bro. Don't
walk
be
us through
nice.
what we're looking at here?
Yes, again, so this would be a diagram, two-dimensional orthogonal, so basically looking from the top down at the area that I did measure at the time we did the speed analysis. Obviously, it depicts a vehicle at a starting point and a vehicle at an end point. The vehicle at point A represents where that vehicle came into that east camera that was
Okay.
located at the Courier Insurance Company. And as soon as basically that vehicle, you're able to view it inside inside the insurance company with the representative was there. I basically told that vehicle to stop. We marked that location on the roadway, and then we continued down to the secondary point, which I determined was the crosswalk. And we
Now imagine you're a kid, you're going to school, and this shit just happened, and you see a Ford Escape of the same make and model driving through the street. Man, that would bring back so much PTSD. I'd be like, y'all need to stop that shit.
at that point once the exemplar vehicle reached that. And that's how we got that distance of 141 feet, roughly 3 inches.
Okay. And what do you do with that distance once you have that measurement?
So once we have that measurement, that's one part of the equation that we need. The equation that we need, just really explain it briefly, comes from Newton's laws of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration. It's part of Newton's second law.
Physics,
the formula
baby.
that we use is velocity equals distance divided by
Oh
time.
my god. Oh my god. It's giving me PTSD. So I took biology, physics, and chemistry. Chemistry and biology was fine, but when I got to that physics, when I tell you physics is a pain in the ass, everything is a fucking formula. And it's not like chemistry where it's like you have these elements and you have to convert the elements and like you have these equations. Physics is like straight math. So it's like you have all these equations and you have to be doing math within like, it's just too much, man. I passed it by the skin of my goddamn teeth because that shit was so terrible. Like, that shit was terrible. I remember taking the final exam, getting through most of what I thought I could pass with, and just walking out. I was like, fuck this shit. Fuck it. And then I just walked out. And then a few of my other friends just walked out. We were like, yo, as long as we get a 60 on this shit, we're passing the semester. We out this bitch. Like, it was terrible. This guy must have loved physics. I don't like physics.
and then we convert that velocity to speed. So we need two inputs in order to calculate the average speed of that vehicle over that distance. The first, obviously, is distance. The second is time. Now, how we get the time is we take the actual video from the incident.
And then time has to be like, everything in time has to be converted to seconds, because if you do it in minutes, the unit might be, it's just so much, bro. It's like, it's so much.
And we have a stopwatch and we time it when it reaches those fixed points. And we do about 20 iterations, then we average those 20 iterations out to get a time. And that's the second part of the equation that we need in order to get that velocity or speed. Once we have that time, in this case it was 2.7 seconds, we round up and increase that time to the nearest whole number, which was 3.
Why do you round up? I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
That's fine. We round up always to give the benefit to the vehicle, because obviously the longer it takes to travel that distance, the slower the speed will be. So we always round up to the next number. If it was 2 seconds, we'd round up to 2.5. So it's about every half-second interval that we round up to. So now that we have the distance of 142 feet roughly and the time of 3 seconds, not 2.7, we came up with the speed of the vehicle, or average speed of the vehicle during that segment, of 32 miles an hour.
Oh, damn.
32 miles.
Shit, see, and that's what physics gets you, kids. Dope-ass answers and shit that you want to know the answer to. So he was going about 32 miles an hour through people. That's pretty fast. Through people? That's pretty fucking fast, not going to lie.
Miles an hour as an average speed from point A to point B as they're depicted on this diagram?
Correct.
Witness.
Sustained is to the form of the question. Please rephrase. The jury will disregard the last answer.
Could you please explain for us, again, summarizing what average speed you calculated and over what distance?
Yes. So the average speed, very simple. We marked point A, we marked point B, we had that distance, we had that time. The vehicle speed between point A, or the average vehicle speed, let me reiterate, was 32 miles an hour between point A and point B.
You mentioned an exemplar vehicle earlier. Can you maybe explain for us again the purpose of using an exemplar vehicle?
And that further discredits Brooks's theory that the car may have, like, during sentencing, like, he was like, maybe the car had gotten stuck, like there was recalls and maybe the gas had gotten stuck. You know, you didn't think about that. Checkmate. I'm not going to jail. Free me. Checkmate. The car did it, not me. But that further disproves that theory if this guy's coming up and saying, nah, he was going an average of 32 miles an hour. If the gas was stuck, you would assume it was accelerating, right? It was going faster and faster. So that's not the case.
Well, when I worked with the detectives from the City of Waukesha PD, we wanted to find an exemplar vehicle just due to the type of case this was. They were able to easily locate one that was very convenient to use.
What I tell you, super easy to find. Any car lot.
Matching the description, I believe the year, make, and model of the car that was in the actual parade. So we decided to use that. Realistically, you can use any type of vehicle because you're just basically looking for that object coming into that frame of reference. But just for court purposes, I think it's a little bit easier to show the jury that, hey, we used a vehicle that was similar or the same.
And in terms of this case, you used a 2010 red Ford Escape?
Correct.
Oh, God, red,
Do you happen
too.
to know the curb weight of that vehicle?
Yeah.
Overruled, you may answer.
So explaining what curb weight is really quick, that's the weight of the vehicle as it comes off the assembly line. So it doesn't include fuel, it doesn't include any personal items, it's just right off the assembly line. This particular 4x2 vehicle was 3,368 pounds curb weight.
Okay. And to clarify, does curb weight have anything to do with your average speed analysis?
It does not.
Okay.
So think about a ton point something, like over a ton worth of weight going 32 miles an hour, just coming through, You're 80 pounds, you're 150 pounds, you're 200 pounds, you're 250. There's a ton of weight coming down the street at 32 miles an hour. That's clearing through everything, you know what I mean? There's no stopping it. You're just a meat bag at that point.
When you get to the end result of your speed analysis, and you have that number, the average speed over that distance, does somebody check your work?
Yes, absolutely. Part of our protocol in the TRU is we have to have all of our reports peer reviewed. Has to be done. Every single one goes out to a former member of the TRU who is now a consultant for us. He peer reviews it, makes sure that everything is correct.
Okay, I want to wrap up by just asking you some clarifying questions about the nature of what an average speed means. Can you say definitively that at any point between point A and point B, the vehicle was traveling faster than 32 miles an hour?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
Round two.
So average speed is calculated, as we talked about, through that distance.
Yeah.
The vehicle can either be going faster than 32
Or
or slower than 32 over that distance. But it's an average. Is it possible the vehicle maintained a constant speed of 32? Yes. But it's more plausible that you have higher and lower speeds during that segment.
Yeah, you know, when you need to plow through a few grannies and a few wheelchairs and a few children, you need to rev it up a bit. You need to step it up a notch. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be going 32 now. Nah, but in all seriousness, I'm pretty sure he was fucking, you know what I mean? He was revving the shit out of that thing. You know what I mean? Sad for all the people who are in the way.
That's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
Cross.
Yes.
Oh, you know it's about to go down. This is the Darrell Brooks segment, y'all. I just love when they cross over because he just continues to help the state. It feels like one big prosecution case with Darrell Brooks just weirdly punching himself in the nuts. You know what I mean? Just punching himself in the balls. Like, I don't really get it. But let's continue with the prosecution here. I mean the
This is
defense.
kind of distraction still being on there.
Wait, what did you just say? Hold on.
Kind of distraction. Yes. This is kind of distraction still being on there.
Yo, this guy is comedy, bro. This guy is probably funny as fuck in the shit he does. He just said, hey, this super damning evidence right here that makes me look super bad and that shows exactly how fast I was going is kind of distracting. Can you turn that shit off? Because it's kind of distracting the jury and it's making them it's really sealing my fate right now. So it's kind of distracting. Can you bro, I love it. I love it. This guy is a comedian. They turned it off for him too. What a punk. I would leave it right there.
From your testimony, it seems like you've been doing crash reconstructions from quite some time. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Around 2004, I believe you said.
I was in the program from about 2002, but really started getting into full recons about 2004.
It's like
you need
18,
a little bit of
19
training
years.
first before you can actually go out and be on your own.
You stated that you worked with detectives in the process. Do you recall who that was?
Yeah, that was Detective Casey.
So cordial. I like Michael.
On getting the calculation of the speed, did you work with anyone on that side of your investigation?
No.
So it's pretty much just you and the detectives.
The detective did not assist me with the speed calculation. He just assisted me with obtaining the videos and also assisted me, excuse me, out at the scene where we did the testing.
Man, it's got to be a stressful ass job to have too, man. If you're confident in your ability, because I'm not confident in no physics and no reconstruction, right? But say if you're confident in your ability, I'm sure it's cool, but it still has to be stressful. Like, this is going to get peer reviewed. This is going to get showed to a judge. This is going to get showed to a jury for sure. All this work that I do, it's not like, I could do the bare minimum and just get away with it. It's not that type of mind frame. All of this matters. This is the type of work that really matters, you know? I was talking to somebody else, and it's like, if you cook some food and, like, the people are bitching about it, it's just some food. Like, whatever. It's not that big a deal. Send it back, we'll do it again. Like, don't have a panic attack about it. You can have that type of mindset over certain things, but this line of work, it's people's lives. Everything is just has to be perfect, At least that's how I would be thinking.
think the exhibit showed the building that had the camera. Do you recall which streets that were on along the parade route?
Yeah, that was on.
I love that
Which streets
diction.
The building that had the camera. Do you recall which streets that were on along the parade route?
Yeah, that was on in front of Curia Insurance on Main Street.
And the point A and point B, did those start from a cross street, or was it just the main?
The insurance company has cameras outside by the sidewalk. There's 2 of them. There's one towards the east and one towards the west, right at the front of the building.
You can't discredit this guy, bro. He has 20,000 hours
You
on
made
you.
reference to the
You can't discredit this guy, bro. This is one of the few witnesses that I've seen look intently at Brooks. Like, yeah, try me, bro. Ask me anything. Ask me what color my underwear is, bro. I'll tell you. Because you know why? Everything I got right now is solid. That's the type of shit he's looking intently. Like, what type of questions you got, bro? I'm down. Like, let's dive into this shit. This is all I do. You know what I mean? This is my department, bro. They asked me about this shit.
distance traveled in feet.
Correct.
I think it was 141.
Correct. 141 feet 2 inches, a little bit over that.
Got it.
And you made a reference to the average speed. Any reason why the average speed wasn't depicted in the exhibit?
That's just a calculation that we do that's included in the report. I don't normally do that in the diagram.
But you wouldn't understand because you didn't do anything in high school with diagrams, idiot. You want it to look clean. You want it to look smooth, minimalistic, and informative. You know what I mean? I know a little something about diagrams. Like, yeah. You're not going to put speed was 35 miles an hour on your diagram. You're going to get points off.
So it would be fair to say that you created the diagram?
I did create the diagram, yes.
Oh, shit.
You said normally you don't put the speed calculation in the diagram. Would it be any reason for that?
It's in the report. It's not necessary to put it in the diagram.
What'd I tell you?
Have
Clutter.
you ever done that before?
Always.
Could you rephrase the question?
Have you ever not included the speed analysis in any crash reconstructions that you've done before this one?
Are you referring to the diagram or are you referring to the
Referring
report?
to the diagrams.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
don't. I do not put speed calculation results in diagrams
On any of them.
on any of them.
Did you create any diagram with the speed calculations present on it?
No, I don't.
No.
The diagram that I created is the one that was up on the screen.
And then from there, you put the speed calculations just in the report.
Yes.
Yeah, I normally just put them in the report, yes. I don't have any recollection of putting one in the diagram.
Would it be fair to say that it may be a little bit difficult to locate what you analyze for speed if it's not in the diagram?
No. I mean, that was the answer that hit me. The second he asked that question, I was like, no. Like, you read the fucking report and you saw that it was 32 miles average. Even though I'm pretty sure it was more like 45. That's the prime. Like, you know, when you're really trying to, I don't know. I feel like 45 is when your RPM is really going over 3,000 or some shit, and you're really starting to get a little power. A little 45, you know, a little 45 on that shit. Run through some people. Probably slow down every once in a while. I'm telling you, he was doing a good 40, 45.
So if you wanted to know the calculation of the speed, you would have to read the report.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Would it be fair to say that it might be easier to find if it was included in the diagram?
No.
My diagram is included with my report, and that's all one unit, so it is in the report.
He's like, damn, you got me there, bro. Fuck. What else do I ask this guy? Shit. This is what I'm telling you. He gives these guys so much leeway. He could have led this as a yes/no type of questioning, but He doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to formulate questions to be specific enough to let people say yes, no, maybe so. You know what I mean? He just asks a question and they could have a whole 20-minute, like they could have a whole 2-minute fucking monologue because they're open-ended. Everything's just open-ended.
Can you explain what the S6 is?
Yes, the S6 is the name of the Trimble robotic total station that we use to actually measure things at crash scenes.
So that's like a certain technology or something. Would that be fair to say?
It's a piece of surveying equipment that if you've been on the road, you've seen them where they're measuring the roadways, or if somebody's building a home. Same type of equipment. We just use it for crash reconstruction.
He's asking this question for a friend. You know what I mean? It's not even like he's asking these questions to discredit or to prove anything. He's asking these questions just to understand what the report is saying. You understand that, right? He couldn't find the speed limit on the diagram, so he's like, well, where's the speed limit? I can't find it. Wouldn't you say it would be easier if you put it on the diagram? He is scrambling, bro. I'm telling you, the pressure is on. He may be showing this whole, oh, I'm an asshole, oh, I don't care. The pressure is on. I can see his hairline receding further and further back, day by day.
And what is a prism? Is that in direct relation to the electronic distance measuring system?
Correct. The total station is one part of the equipment that we use. The prism is the other. The total station communicates with the prism through an electronic digital measuring system, which is a laser. The two pieces are needed, in this case, to collect the measurements that I collected. Not a necessary component to using the equipment, but we normally do use the prism when taking measurements.
That meant nothing to Brooks
And
just
that
now.
prism's pretty accurate, you would say.
Well, the unit is accurate.
What about the prism?
Yeah, it's all accurate. The unit itself is very accurate. At 300 feet, it's about 1/8 of an inch either way, plus or minus.
And is the CAD the...
See, like, bro, he's reading the report in court. I don't know how the judge hasn't I don't know how she hasn't shut it down yet, because he's reading the report and asking questions about the report. That's it. It's not for the jury. It's not for anything. It's for him to understand. Because you see what I mean? This is why you shouldn't be allowed to represent yourself in certain cases, because this shit is absolutely crazy. He's learning about the report. He's learning about the words being used in the report as he's questioning the guy. That's absolutely crazy.
The diagram that you created?
Could you rephrase the question, please?
Is the CAD, is that software related to the diagram that you created?
It is.
In what way?
The computer-aided design software program that we use is a tool that when we transfer the measurements from the Trimble total station, we transfer that into the computer-aided design program, and that's how we create our diagram.
Can you explain what the 2.4 gigahertz radio technology is?
That's just software that's built into the total station, the Trimble unit, as part of its communication.
And is that communication radio?
Yeah, there's a radio inside the unit, correct.
You made reference to something called Newton's Law. Can you explain a little bit further?
Oh my
what that
God.
is?
Are we talking about Newton's
Newton's
laws
law.
of physics, bro? No.
Laws of motion are what we use as a big step.
Oh my God. The guy's getting a high school lesson right now in court. You guys understand that, right? He's getting a high school lesson right now in court. He's asking these questions for himself. This doesn't do anything. I'm going to let this go a little bit longer, but
In
this
our
is wild.
reconstruction field, a lot of formulas are derived from Newton's laws, including the formula that we use to calculate the vehicle's average speed. Sir Isaac Newton obviously invented the laws of motion. We all learned that in high school.
We all learned that in high school. What are we talking about? Like you brought up Newton's law of could you explain that? Like he is an idiot. He's a dummy. Like he's showing his dumb right now.
And that's part of the process that came to the formula that I used to calculate the average speed.
I always thought of Newton as gravity, so that was a bit of new information.
Okay, I said Newton's laws of physics. I had it wrong at first too, but this fool said Newton's laws of gravity and then proceeds to laugh and said, that was a bit of a informative piece for me. Bro. Not only is he an asshole, he's actually dumb. Like, and going to high school doesn't make you dumb, you know? You could be a smart person and never went to high school, but this guy is a dummy. Like, he's on another level, bro.
You made reference to part of the crash reconstruction was finding a similar vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you were able to find a similar vehicle pretty easily, you would say?
That would have been the City of Waukesha Police Department which found the vehicle.
And you made reference to it being in the parade as well? Or part of the parade as well?
The exemplar vehicle?
Yes, the vehicle that was similar.
The exemplar vehicle was not in the parade.
I may have misinterpreted what you were saying. And you said it was found by the Waukesha Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall if that part of your investigation and the creating of the graph and all that technology that goes with that, was that part of the same day, or were they done on at different times?
I'm sorry, are you referencing the diagram, the creation of the diagram?
Right.
No, that was not.
Because it seems like a lot of technology went into getting the diagram created and, you know, different variations of that. And then also using a similar vehicle to, I guess, simulate would that be fair to say, simulate the incident?
We used the exemplar vehicle for our testing.
Was that done all the same day, or was it done?
Sorry, could you rephrase the question
He's
again?
so like, what are you asking, bro? Like, I don't think Brooks even knows what he's asking. Like, were they done at the same day? Like, what, was the diagram made on the same day as the equipment was used? Obviously not. You have to get the fucking data to make the diagram. How is that going to be done on the same day? He can't even ask that question, though. He's so dumb. Like, the guy's dumb, I'm telling you. And he wanted to be his own lawyer. At least people like Ted Bundy, and I think he had a lawyer. Who's the guy who represented himself? It was another guy. But at least he had some wit with him. Like, this guy's just stupid.
Not understanding what you're asking.
Was the creation of the diagram and the simulation of the vehicle done on the same day?
No, it was not.
No shit. And he's going to be like, oh, well, there's the loophole, guys. There's the problem. Numbers from the from the fucking robot are wrong because it's another day. No, bro, that's not how it works. Technology is quite accurate.
So it'd be fair to say it was a process involved in getting all the information.
Correct.
And you stated that was done around January 30th, around that time?
The testing was done on January 30th.
And what about the simulation from the similar vehicle?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question?
Do you recall what date the simulation was performed?
Are you asking when I completed my analysis?
Specifically the part of the similar vehicle being used.
That was January 30th. We did the testing out on Main Street in front of Curry Insurance.
So what part of the process was done at a later date?
The diagram, the calculations, the time distance analysis.
All the main things. Bro, it's called going out into the field, collecting your your information, and then doing the calculation. You're not gonna do that all in one day. But anyways, I can't take that shit any further. That was Darrell Brooks just numbing your mind. If you need a little bit of, mind melting to make your day better, there you go. You lost some brain cells. You're welcome. I lost them, you lost them, we're all getting stupider by the day. But anyways, y'all, if you guys enjoyed that shit, let me know. Hit me up on my Instagram. I love y'all. Make sure you guys, get everything done. Don't run through any parades. Stay inside. Obviously, stay safe. I love y'all. Catch you guys later.